From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 5:30, streaming now.
Now at 5:30 on WRTV, adjusting to new conditions but still finding a need to fill. The local agritourism destinations evolving to survive. And you may be starting a resolution, but when do you treat yourself this year? We've got some perfect spots to try on your cheat day. Updates from some of our favorite businesses that fought to stay open in 2020.
Topping our lineup, temporary or freelance positions may be easier to land than a full-time job right now. Advice on customizing your resume to get that gig position and turning it into a long-term job. A new type of scoliosis surgery is a game changer. How the process is giving patients a better range of motion. The travel industry will be trying some new things to win back our business in 2021. What you can expect from the new trends, including dateless departures and travel bubbles.
Over the course of the pandemic, consumer habits have shifted. WRTV's Rebound Indiana initiative is looking at how that is forcing our local small businesses to pivot to meet those needs. This year with Indiana Grown, our Lauren Casey found out how small agritourism destinations are adapting in order to survive.
We came up with this idea of a portable wine flight.
Sarah Schade takes us through a pandemic-friendly tasting at Mallow Run Winery in Bargersville.
It's the Sangiovese with a little bit of Cabernet Sauvignon.
The family-owned winery off Whiteland Road prides itself on giving guests an experience.
And then this last one is Traminette, which is the Indiana signature grape.
And they always provide complimentary tastings.
The customer can check off which four. We prepare the flight for them. And then the only rule is that it has to be enjoyed while seated at a table, but they can stay in here or go out on our deck.
It's fall at this Johnson County gym, but springtime looked much different.
So we fell under the category of a bar or nightclub because we don't have an established restaurant here.
Despite the acres of space, Mallow Run couldn't operate as it has for 15 years.
And just like any other small business, it was really scary.
So the family and workers put their heads together.
Okay, if this is the reality right now, how are we going to get through?
And decided to offer a drive-through case sale. And so on that first weekend of the shutdown, this driveway was packed with cars wrapping all the way around down to Whiteland Road with people supporting this local business.
It blew us away. It was kind of the hope that we needed to get through what would end up being the next several months of being closed.
The ability to get creative, overcome barriers, and get products to consumers. That's the message Indiana Grown worked to get to its members during this global pandemic.
So Indiana Grown is a program of the Indiana State Department of Agriculture, and our whole goal is to market and promote and elevate all forms of local ag. So that is hog farmers, traditional row crops, value-added products like barbecue sauce, and even wine. Because wine is agriculture as well.
Indiana Grown has helped members track these new consumer habits like online sales and social media advertising. And businesses like Mallow Run used what they had, a loyal customer base to push through the mandated shutdown.
A lot of our members have new business that they never would have had before, and hopefully we'll retain that business in the future.
A late frost delivered that 1-2 punch in this pandemic to growers like Mallow Run. But just as Mother Nature heals herself, the winery hopes to rebound for future events.
As long as conditions are okay, the vineyard will come alive again in seasons to come. We just have to be patient. We're on nature's time, not our time.
All right, well, things are about to get a little active once again here in central Indiana. This time yesterday, we were watching rain transition to snow. Now our eyes are on this system down across portions of the deep south that's going to be bringing some freezing rain to central Indiana. And you can see all of these advisories that are in effect out ahead of it, even some winter storm warnings there in the pink, and ice storm warning in central portions of Illinois. But it's a winter weather advisory for all the counties shaded in purple here, goes into effect as we head toward 3 o'clock in the morning. Does include Rockville through Indianapolis into Franklin and also there in Decatur County as well. What we're anticipating is up to 1/4 of an inch of ice. Most areas, though, I think will be 1/10 of an inch or less, and then additional rainfall through the day, about 1/2 inch to 1 inch of wet weather. Temperatures, they're going to be critical right now. They are sitting in the upper 20s for us. 28 in Martinsville and Crawfordsville, 28 in Greenfield for you. As we go through this evening, temperatures holding very steady here in the upper half of the 20s as the clouds continue to return to the area. We'll talk more about what you can expect for that first weekend of 2021 in just a bit.
It's possible the U.S. may want to administer the first round of COVID vaccine to more people rather than move on to the second dose with people who have already been vaccinated. That's what Dr. Anthony Fauci told NBC today. However, he did clarify there is a chance people would not get their second dose in time, and there's a lag period between the doses. 2020 has been a tough year, and it continues to be tough even today, the last day of the year. Wednesday, there were more than 3,700 COVID deaths in a single day, setting yet another grim record. The CDC estimates 80,000 people in the country could die from coronavirus over the next 3 weeks. The U.S. Public Interest Research Group is inviting people to honor the lives lost to COVID. People can take part in a virtual vigil where they read the names of victims.
We want to make sure that we're honoring these people's memories, but we also want to make sure that our elected officials don't forget that the decisions that they make are measured in terms of human life.
Many of those taking part are healthcare workers who have been personally affected by the virus. Not only have they been working with COVID patients, but some of their own colleagues have also died while trying to help others. That's why they want to remind people the death toll that we see every day is very real and personal.
We almost become numb to those numbers sometimes, but every single one of those numbers is a person. They're a person who had a job. They're a person who had somebody they cared about, somebody who cared about them, and I think they had meaning and they had purpose.
To take part in the vigil, you can visit uspurg.org/notforgotten. You can also find other videos by searching the hashtag #NotForgotten. The Presidential Inaugural Committee is planning a nationwide memorial to honor COVID victims. Cities and towns across the country are invited to light up their buildings and ring church bells at 5:30 p.m. Eastern on January 19th. A ceremony will also be held at the Lincoln Memorial Reflecting Pool in D.C. A hospital employee in Wisconsin has been fired after taking more than 500 Moderna vaccine doses out of the hospital's refrigeration system. They spoiled after being left out overnight. The worker said that they knew that they took those 57 vials out, and police are now investigating. More in our lineup. Temporary or freelance positions, they could be easier to land than a full-time job right now. We have advice on customizing your resume to get that gig position and turning it into a long-term job.
Right now on WRTV, we're highlighting some of our favorite businesses we've featured this year in We're Open Indy, and hopefully inspire you with a sweet idea. Krisha Cakes is known for its creations on special occasions. Krisha Cakes was able to adapt to the pandemic by boosting its online store, increasing shipping and deliveries, and offering curbside pickup. After our original story, they got tons of business, including increased orders from people in different states that wanted to support a local Black-owned business. The owner of Krisha Cakes says they're working on opening a new location in the Castleton area.
Nationally, the number of people filing for new unemployment benefits is now at 787,000. It's down 19,000 from last week and the lowest level in 4 weeks. However, it's still nearly 4 times higher than this point last year. If you're having trouble finding full-time work, a side hustle or gig job may actually pay off more in the long run.
It can be a great plan B for some people who perhaps are looking for a full-time job and they want to supplement their income or say, you know what, this is a way to get your foot in the door.
Career website Monster found now is a great time to look into temporary or freelance positions. Some may even offer part-time benefits, and if you take the position seriously, it could pan out to better opportunities.
So when you get that job, really roll up your sleeves, put in the hours, put in the grit, learn, ask questions, be reliable, show up early, leave late, ask questions, be a leader, and network your way within that organization because you don't know where that role can lead.
One way to help land a gig job is customize your resume to the specific skill sets and requirements that are listed in the job description. Monster says companies typically list them in order of importance and highlight some of the personal achievements of this year as well.
It's been such a year of also flexibility and resiliency for so many of us. So it's time to celebrate that, but also see, okay, how were we flexible? How were we resilient? How can we transfer that? How can job seekers really transfer that? And that's looking at the jobs that are in most demand right now.
A freelance creation company, Bunny Studio, found freelancers said that they had a better work-life balance. And in most cases, it took less than 2 years for them to make more money than they were in a previous full-time job. More in our lineup. A new type of scoliosis surgery is a game changer. How the process is giving patients a better range of motion.
Galleries, live life comfortably.
The housing market is one thing that has thrived during this pandemic, with home sales up to a 14-year record high. Also at a record high is the growth in buyers from historically disenfranchised communities. Alicia Nieves shows us what measures are being put in place to ensure continued growth in minority home ownership.
Owning a home has always been a part of the American dream.
It took me 4 years of saving each penny, but it was worth it at the end of the road.
This year, it was a dream realized for Marco Castillo and his family.
You cannot describe this, but it's that feeling of accomplishment. I did this. I worked hard, and I'll keep on working hard for it.
But it wasn't easy getting to that moment. Castillo started the home buying process right at the beginning of the pandemic, and lenders wanted extra assurance he could continue to afford purchasing his first home.
By sending everything that they needed, doubts were always popping. Is this guy going to be able to pay for his home? Are we sure that it's working? Is the company going to close? I mean, it was hard for us.
Despite societal barriers in becoming a homeowner and the added layer of difficulty with the pandemic, data from the Census Bureau shows minority homeownership hit record highs this year. In the first quarter of 2020, overall U.S. homeownership rose 1.1% from Q1 in 2019. But amongst minority home buyers, it was double that, with the highest growth rate in the Hispanic community.
For Hispanics, it's not just something that's economic. It's a piece of the American dream.
Sarah Rodriguez is with the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. Her organization recently conducted a survey that shows even with the Hispanic community being one of the hardest hit in recent months,
Hispanics still are putting money away. What they're doing now is that they're getting together in multi-generational households so that they can actually pull together resources and money to buy their dream homes.
Also expected to help with future growth in the Hispanic community and all minority communities are new commitments from big banks. In recent months, banks like J.P. Morgan Chase, Fifth Third Bank, Wells Fargo, and Bank of America have pledged billions of dollars to expand current programs and create new ones that focus on lending to prospective and current minority homeowners. The programs focus on improving access to credit and helping with down payment assistance.
We deserve to have a home. Everybody deserves to have a home, but us more here in the U.S. with so many things probably against us, nah, this is very good.
I'm Alicia Nieves reporting.
Millions of people are trying to avoid getting evicted as we go into 2021, but only a small fraction of them will have an attorney to represent them in court. Fewer than 10 American cities, including Baltimore, Newark, New York City, Philadelphia, and San Francisco, grant people the right to a lawyer in housing-related disputes. While many legal aid organizations try to help tenants with representation, the need right now is more than what they can handle.
Tonight, as we highlight some of our favorite local businesses we've featured this year in We're Open Indy, we're getting into the comfort food, the food that sticks to your ribs. Back in June, we first visited a restaurant new to Westfield, set up by a local couple. Despite the drastically different environment, I Heart Mac and Cheese was able to stick out. Owners Liz and Matt Griffin say support from the community has been key, whether it be fundraisers or just plain patronage. They're finding enough success to be able to expand. A new location is planned to open near IUPUI's campus center in the new year, and another on North Michigan Road in Carmel is set to open in the spring.
Could go for a little mac and cheese right now for dinner, huh? And round out this 2020. All right, we got temperatures out there this evening that are right around 30 degrees, 29 in Indy, 30 in Muncie. We saw a little bit of sunshine this afternoon, and this evening the clouds taking back over here as we are getting in on that leading edge of that next weather system. Things looking pretty active here as we go into the first day of the new year, and it starts off with some freezing rain there. Temperatures going to be very important, right around freezing here here at 6 and 7 a.m. and then we slowly start to climb a little bit here. And as we get into the afternoon, we'll switch over to just plain old rain with temperatures that make their way through the 40s. So here's how it looks on TrueCast for you. 4:30 in the morning. So it's late overnight hours, early tomorrow morning that this all starts to move in. Anywhere you see the pink, that's where we'll have some of that freezing rain ongoing. By 7 a.m., pretty much the entire WRTV area. Temperatures will start to warm a little bit, though, around Bedford and Seymour. So things will improve for you. As we get into the early afternoon, pretty much everyone should switch over to rainfall. And rain is expected to add up here to about 1/2 to an inch of rainfall. As far as the ice accumulation, most areas under 1/10 of an inch. We get into some northern locations, though, and we could see about 1/4 inch of ice. As we look ahead toward the weekend, remains chilly, but really not bad here for early January with highs around 40. We'll be in the mid-40s next week.
Pet owners, check your cabinets. The FDA is warning of certain foods that could be deadly. These products made by Midwestern Pet Foods are being recalled. The foods may contain fatal levels of a toxin that comes from mold on corn and other grains. The FDA says it knows of at least 28 deaths and 8 illnesses in dogs that ate it. If you have this food at home, stop feeding it to your pet immediately and call your vet if they seem sick. And Target is recalling a baby romper. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says the snaps can break or come off, which creates a choking risk. The recall is for several versions of the Cloud Island romper in sizes newborn to 12 months. Now, Target has gotten 16 reports of snaps breaking and 2 reports of minor injuries. So if you have one, the commission says don't put it on your child. You can return it to Target for a full refund. 3 million new cases of scoliosis are diagnosed each year. Many people can function without surgery, but for those who need it, fusion surgery can limit mobility in the spine. Well, now there's a new surgery that's giving hope to children and teens so they're able to keep their mobility and continue living a normal life.
For 14-year-old Ashley Miller,
I guess, love the feel of the game, just the competition.
Softball is life.
I'm the utility player on the team, so I play outfield. I mainly play middle infield, but I'll occasionally play third and first, and then I catch.
So when she and her mom, Annette, noticed something may be off in her back,
the hips were uneven as well as the shoulders.
They decided to bring it up at Ashley's next doctor appointment.
I have scoliosis as well as my mom has scoliosis.
Ashley's doctor recommended her to Dr. Mark Erickson, the medical director of the spine program at Children's Hospital, Colorado.
Her curve was a pretty severe curve, one in the 50s to 60s degrees.
Surgery was inevitable. Dr. Erickson gave the Millers 2 options, either keep her in a brace for another year or so and then get a fusion surgery, or try a new surgery that was just approved by the FDA last year.
I mainly focused on softball as my deciding factor because they told me if I were to get this surgery, I would still keep all the flexibility in my back, and I'd still be able to move around and do everything that my teammates did.
The company shared this animation with us. Instead of using a metal rod and fusing her spine, surgeons inserted a titanium screw into each vertebrae and tethered them together with a synthetic line, and that tether will realign her curvature over time.
So as I grow, my curve will start to straighten out, and the surgery was to make sure that I still have the flexibility while playing softball.
But this surgery only works if the child still has another growth spurt to hit.
You have to have some growth remaining for the tether aspect to work and modulate the growth or tether the growth of the spine, harness the growth of the spine. You need to have growth remaining for that to be possible.
Just a few months post-surgery and Ashley's spine has already started to straighten out.
It still needs to get stronger, but it's going really good so far.
Working through this whole process, I could not have asked for a better scenario. I think everything went as well as it could have been.
And she was back on the field just a few weeks after her surgery in July.
I love the rush of the game. Because, my teammates, we all cheer each other on. We're all so supportive.
Emotional support sure to help as she continues to heal physically.
Finally, in our lineup, the travel industry will be trying new things to win back our business in 2021. What you can expect from the new trends, including dateless departures and travel bubbles.
No payments, no interest for 12 months.
With COVID-19 vaccines rolling out even more in 2021, a return to travel is on the horizon, and the travel industry is taking steps to win back customers.
I think what you're going to see, the theme generally within the travel industry is going to be, look, we want you to book a trip. We want you to feel like you have something to look forward to. We're not going to necessarily refund your trip, but we will give you the flexibility to make it work for you.
Travel expert Francesca Page talked with us about some of the new trends within travel. One is sort of a spin on timeshares, membership and subscription-based services like Club Wyndham.
And you got to think here like multi-bedroom suites, full-service kitchens, and relaxed living spaces, but with the flexibility to extend their stay by maximizing their membership travel points. And obviously the comforts of home coupled with feeling like you are taking some sort of travel experience, that's very appealing to people.
Other 2021 travel trends are dateless departures, basically guaranteeing you a spot when the first tours start again to a specific destination. If the dates don't line up, you can rebook without losing money. A new safety option is travel bubbles. Those are smaller private group tours designed to keep your group socially distant from other travelers. Page predicts we'll see a rise in travel bookings starting this week while people are taking some time off and looking ahead to next year.
People shouldn't feel like, you know what, I just am going to forget about travel. I'm going to put it aside. We're never going to take that honeymoon. We're never going to take that vacation. There is nothing wrong with getting ready because this isn't going to be here forever.
Page anticipates more airlines will offer virus testing next year, and resorts could soon as well. Some resorts are already doing it, like the spa at Cosmopolitan Hotel in Las Vegas, which is offering both PCR and antibody tests. There are few among us who haven't struggled this year. For those with compromised immune systems without a job, searching for one takes on new complexity. Tomorrow, yet another success story, a way one man is turning his life around as we all hope for change in 2021.
Freezing rain with some slick conditions to start off our New Year's Day before those temperatures warm and will be around 40 for the weekend.